Hi guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to today's reading on generational curses. What curses are you breaking? What curses have you been chosen to break? So it can kind of go either way. You may be in the process of it, or you may be aware of certain things that have gone in your family generationally, or just to a point that it's within you. I believe these things are embedded in our DNA or are a part of our DNA, and so when we heal these things, we get to alter our DNA and upgrade it and shift it so that future generations will no longer be affected by this. And it isn't just for you. It's for your offspring. It's for all those that come after you. So it is very important to heal these curses that have been going down the family line. And yeah, so this should be an interesting reading. I look forward to doing it. And let's get started. So for pile 1, we have Amethyst. Pile 2, Larimar. Pile 3, Shamanic Quartz. And pile 4, Botswana Agate. I love that this little eye is here too. I think this is so pretty. Anyway, that is pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead and make your selection using your intuition, and I will see you in your reading. Okay, welcome pile 1 to your reading. So what generational curse are you breaking, or have you been called to break? So right away, I'm seeing the Ascendant right here. So for you, this has a lot to do with not the mask that you wear, but the social projection that you have, or a way of being. With Lilith in reverse and independence. So with Lilith, she was somebody who, disobeyed Adam. Like, she was his first wife. I don't know if they were married. I'm not sure exactly the story, but I know that she didn't want to do as she was told, so he got rid of her and replaced her with Eve. So Lilith was very independent. She saw herself as being equal to Adam, and so when he would tell her to do things, where and she just didn't want to accept that she was the weaker vessel type thing. So within reverse, and so she was like, fine, I'll be independent. I'm going to stand on what I believe in, and that's what I'm going to do. Even if that means having to be alone, even if that means having to, be banished or whatever the case is. So she really stood in that. So, what I get from this is, I think that there was some type of situation or a way of growing up, or something in your family where you were expected to behave a certain way, and to not be so bold. Here it says resilient, bold, and sassy. So it's like there was some type of something done, whether it was certain ideas, beliefs. I don't know. Maybe it was biblical. Maybe it wasn't. It could have just been the standard protocol on this is how you behave. This is what is considered polite. You do not be too bold. You do not be too sassy. You do not be too in your face. You don't really go against the grain. And like, okay, like that P. Diddy song, like I'm just hearing, can't nobody hold me down. I got to keep on moving. So with indecision here, it's like, it's almost like people have tried to hold you down or hold you back from being the full expression of who you are. And it's like, if you were to act in a more bold and manner, they would try and hold you back from it. You would be, it's almost be like all eyes on you, like what are you doing, and I'm just getting the sense of like water over here and then fire over here. And so it's like there's a timidity. Is that the word? Yeah, timidity with the Page of Cups here. This sort of more quiet, more reserved, timid nature about the Page of Cups. Not wanting to move too quickly, wanting to be very careful in how you maneuver. With the Page of Cups, to me, is somebody who I don't want to say has social anxiety, but it's perhaps overthinking things a little bit because they're very concerned with, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing and I don't want to offend this person. And it's like, so they're sort of tiptoeing, they're tiptoeing. So they can't move quickly. They can't act boldly because there's always going to be somebody or something that may not like this or may not like this or, so it's like you can't move with boldness and strength, right? And it's going to make you indecisive, right? Which is the energy that we want to get out of, right? With tenderness over here. So even with the Ten of Swords, it's like this is coming to an end. This wants to come to an end. Tenderness. That's the word that stands out to me in this card is tenderness. And so it's like this need to not be so tender, so soft, so tiptoeing, so people pleasing almost, or it's not even people pleasing. It's like it becomes overwhelming. It's like, well, I'd rather just not do anything, or this is gonna be too complicated, or this person's gonna have a problem. I don't want to offend this person, and and perhaps there's a fear of really being fully independent and taking the consequences of whatever it is and just standing on it. So right now I'm being drawn to these two cards, which I think are related. So the ladybug, ladybird, luck. All of your manifesting positive thoughts and visualizations have been heard. So this is in reverse. Okay. And it goes to me with this peacock. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. So I'm going to talk about these cards right here, because I feel that your luck is very much tied to your independence, to your showing your true self. Being bold and being ready to show who you are, and being bold and really going for what it is and really being in your truth. Because right now, it's like there's something dishonest about living life in this way when you have something so extraordinary within you that wants to come out, that wants to be shown. It's almost like an injustice that you're not out there, flexing. I just heard flexing. Flexing on these hoes. That's actually what I heard. Yeah. It's an injustice. And, perhaps, and I think also this independence ties into financial independence as well. Or maybe not financial, but something in the material realm, right? Because this is about your luck. And, it's that saying of, what is it? The bold are, fortune favors the bold, right? So your luck, quote unquote luck, is very much tied to your boldness, how willing you are to show who you are, to be who you are, to be in your truth. Because right now it's almost like the universe wants you to do that so that you can be given what you're entitled to, so you can claim you redeem. It's like you're redeeming your points. Like you put in a lot of work and you need to be paid for it, but you need to really step into this more bold nature. And it's like also following your heart as well. It's because, like, to me, the Page of Cups follows their heart in a creative aspect, And so does the Page of Wands as well, but it's more of in a fiery way. Like with Lilith, I'm getting like the Queen of Fire, the Queen of Wands, very confident in themselves. The Sun, just enjoying themselves, almost like carefree in a way. Yes, carefree. And I really sense that the universe wants you to really step forward in this way, and to really be bold, and to really be yourself, and really to be demanding. Um, Otherwise, it's like you're not going to be in your truth, and then luck and fortune will not really be on your side. It's like this. Yeah, it's ladybug is about luck. So the universe has heard all the things that you've wanted to manifest, and is really trying to direct you in that way. And what's needed is for you to be your fullest self and flex. And that may mean being independent from, really establishing your independence, fully establishing it and believing in it, you know. Yeah. And just, being action oriented with this Page of Wands, to me, is somebody who is very heart driven and is very action oriented. They pretty much even act almost without spending too much time thinking. It's like they're so in tune with their instincts. It's like go, 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 you know? And not being afraid, not second guessing themselves, you know? Not being worried about the ramifications of whatever actions, not being worried about how other people are going to perceive them, not feeling like they have to be subservient or, you know, to others, or to be held down by what others may think of them. This really has to come to an end. You don't have to be this soft spoken individual, and perhaps that served you for a time, but it's something that has to stop. It has to stop. Opening heart, deep connections, water blessings, and it's in reverse. Let's see what this says. Yeah. I almost feel like this is the other spectrum of water, and then fire is like, the water is like what helps you receive, like it's like receiving, and the fire is like pushes things outward, you know. It's like moving from the Queen of Cups to the Queen of Wands. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of speaking in tarot terms right now, but um it's just the fire. Yeah, it's just the fire that needs to come out, the confidence that needs to come out. And not giving a fuck what anybody has to say, what anybody thinks, and whatever the consequences are. Because once you start doing this, like, fortune is going to be on your side. You're going to be able to manifest what it is that you want, and that's in terms of finances, that's in terms of situations, that's in terms of all the things that you want in the physical realm, right? Because right now it's like it's an injustice, and not living in your truth. It's like right now it's like certain things are being withheld from you. Spirit wants you to be carefree so you could fully shine and really follow your heart and do what you got to do. Indecisiveness is just going to hold you back, and this is something. Is like, you know it's like people, I know people don't want to rock the boat, and maybe this is sort of the family that you come from, or where it's like, okay, everyone, we just don't rock the boat too heavily. We're very mindful, we're very polite, And that isn't to say that you shouldn't be polite, but there's nothing wrong with being yourself and going after what it is you want and being bold, and then allowing others to take care of their own feelings, like as adults we should be able to manage our own feelings as well. So yeah, so anyways, that is your reading, pile 1. I hope it was helpful for you. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye bye. Okay, welcome pile 2, sorry, to your reading on what generational curses are you breaking or have you been called to break. So with your pile, it's definitely one of a very, very spiritual nature. With Great Mystery in reverse and the Star in reverse, it's like there's been a disconnect with faith in the unseen things. Alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone, Infinity, Destiny, Magic. So you have here this faith in unseen things, right? So that's what you're being called to fix, or to heal from, or to move forward with, because it appears here that there's been this idea that has been put forth, and I think a lot of people could relate to this, is, just being very focused on the physical realm, like on the things that we can see, relying on our own power alone. So know your worth in Taurus. So I take this in two ways. One is knowing who you truly are as a spiritual being, and the power that we have to really manifest and, be like magicians in a way, to really manifest and create what it is that we want when we bring ourselves into alignment. I'm already going like this, with like mind, body, soul, like just bringing ourselves in alignment with the spirit and having faith and doing these sorts of things, and in order to manifest the things we want. Whereas on this side here, I'm seeing a lot of having to rely on your own resources alone, believing that you are required. It's all about your own power, your own resources, your own strength, having to carry such a heavy burden. With nurture here in reverse, it's like a nurturer, like it's like in reverse, it's like overgiving, having to give so much, having to toil so hard in order to, reap a harvest, and having to balance. Here you see her, it almost looks like a hula hoop. It's like she's juggling, or she's spinning these two things, and then plus she has this rope that she's holding this dog, and it almost looks like a hula hoop. So she's putting on this juggling act, or this, like, there's so much that she has to balance and do on her own, relying on her own strength and her own resource alone, right? Not knowing how powerful and who she truly is, or what she truly is. And then also doing this, there's like a sense of unhappiness, right? In having to do this, even with the expression of this lady on her face, it's like it's such a heavy load to have to carry on your own, and it's this sense of being alone as well. And then with the sun in reverse too, I'm getting the sense, it's like the sense of just being very disconnected from yourself, from your body, from, because it's almost like you have to become numb in a way to be able to hold all of this on your own, and then being disconnected from the source, and having that like union with spirit, and co-creating with the spirit. Sacrifice. Sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. So it's like, for you, I feel that you are either, or you're going to be called to make a lot of sacrifices, and at the beginning, I feel like there's going to be this period where you're letting go of carrying all this weight, doing this juggling act, overgiving, overdoing, and in the end, you don't even really get to manifest what it is that you want. Because you are disconnected, you're disconnected from the sun, and the sun is like what we depend on, what we rely on. You know what I mean? So I think you come from a family, or you come from an upbringing where there isn't a lot of faith in the unseen, in this great mystery of what life is, right? And here with the Northern Lights, it's like, it's just something so magical about it, right? And it's like, until we make that sacrifice, letting go of the illusion. And a lot of this stuff is like, you gotta do it first, and then you will see the result of it. Like, you have to be not willing, but it's faith. All of it is based on faith, because you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop, performing like this, unless you have faith, unless you start to recognize who you are, unless you start to believe in the alchemy of life, and rely on the spirit, or just believe in unseen things, and be ready to make the sacrifice in order to get what it is that you are really trying to manifest. Here you have Kundalini rising. So again, this is spirit, channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. So yeah, so behaving in this way where you're, overworked, overgiving, overdoing, relying on your own resources alone, being disconnected, not having faith in the unseen. It's like you're not going to be able to experience this transformation, this energy that rises up within you. And also too, it's like this eye, this inner vision, this intuition, this knowing, magic. You're not going to be able to you see it, because this is such a subtle energy, right? Being able to, it's like you have to be in this meditative state. So there's a lot of things that you have to let go of in order to be able to be receptive. Go with the flow, letting go, cleansing, receiving. In order to be receptive, there's so much that you need to let go of, right? You have to let go of resentment, forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And this is the flow of love, the Kundalini rising, this receiving, and I'm going to say this too. It's like, you're realizing that receiving, like, humans have been built to receive, right? We're built to receive information, like from our senses, not just our physical senses, but like our intuitive senses, our psychic senses, guidance, right? Like, how else are we going to be guided? How else are we going to manifest things? It's not just through hard work alone, right? We do have to be putting in the work, but a lot of the work also requires rest and meditation. So more of what needs to happen here is the Four of Swords in reverse. Like, this is just a restless energy, right? It's gonna block you from being able to really have this inner knowing and inner seeing, right? So the generational curse that you're breaking is really to come to terms with who you really are as a spiritual being having a human experience on this earth. Okay? There's many sacrifices that you're gonna have to make, and a lot of that has to do with your belief systems and your faith, right? Or your lack of faith, perhaps from the way that you were raised. And a lot of people, like, I'm just thinking of like the baby boomer generation, very much talked about, you got to put in the work, you got to work hard, you got to, and they were very hard workers. Like, when we look at those that came before us, like our parents, or like, these are some of the most hardworking people, like people who have worked their entire lives, and just don't rest at all. And so there's a disconnection that happens, from our source, from being in that, from doing that, and from being in that, and it's almost like this point where this surrender needs to take place. And maybe you're starting to see now, like, it's about going with the flow, and you will be led to where you need to go and what you need to do, right? So this is about also forgiving. Yeah, like we said, forgiving, acknowledging that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So having resentments, the need to forgive. So maybe, part of the generational curse is maybe you guys, maybe the way you were brought up is like, to harbor resentment, to not let go of things, whereas now that resentment is like poison to you because it's actually blocking you from seeing, blocking you from having faith, because part of it is like having faith in the divine as well, like that things happen that way and there was a lesson in it for you as well. um Not just a lesson, but it could be various reasons as to why, but regardless, we cannot hold on to the resentment of when things didn't work out, things that destabilized us, and certain things are hard to forgive, but it's more of an acceptance, right? So it's about letting go of this restlessness, taking time out as well for yourself so you can, and spending a lot of time cleansing, receiving, letting go. So this really ties in here because with the magician in reverse, it's like, holding on to all of this stuff, it just feels so heavy here. Oh, I just noticed this. It's the what is that thing called? Um that sequence, the Fibonacci sequence. So this is like something that's in nature a lot. So it's recognizing the patterns that are in nature. So and that make up the entire universe, like these same numbers that keep repeating all over the place, and just like really taking the time to see the magic in everything, and how and who we are. Man, like I just feel such like a powerful thing right now is to be able to I want to use the word manipulate reality, but it truly is, we are able to have a lot of control over our reality and on the earth, right? Using our will and putting in the work and then making certain sacrifices, but yeah, so this is like a huge change. This is a huge change, and I think this is something that a lot of people are probably going through as well, because we are moving from that age of um, you know I just even think about corporations and working and things like that. It's like, you know I think the newer generation coming up now, can be criticized, or I've heard people criticizing, like from the boomers and things like that, that, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to work, they don't know what hard work is, and this is, and people are manifesting and creating and living the life that they want without having to do this, and this is largely because of disconnection, right? And I just feel like this is the direction that the earth is sort of moving into right now. So, but a lot of sacrifices involved. So yeah. So good luck. Definitely good luck, and it's definitely a beautiful thing. So all the best to you, and I will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye bye. Okay, and welcome, Pile 3, to your reading on what generational curses are you breaking, or are you selected to break? So your reading seems a bit odd to me. Perhaps it's not odd. It's just kind of unique. Like, it's not something that I would have anticipated. But anyway, let's get started anyway. So the generational curse has to do with your family and your home life. And I'm getting this with the Chariot card, and it's like you're surrounded by people who, like, it's like these are karmic people, right? With karmic completion in reverse, like these are karmic people, who you have been, placed with to really teach you a lot of lessons. So I think the the curse is, it's okay, this has more to do with your outlook and your approach to life and to things in general. So I get the sense too that the people that you're around tend to be, and maybe you guys are very strong-willed people, because here we have don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. Maybe you're not a very prideful person, but you're surrounded by people who are very prideful, because with this card, philosophy, releasing karma, and mysticism, it seems like you could be a more of a peaceful, like I get a more peaceful energy from this card. You could be a more peaceful person, someone who gets along with people. However, you're surrounded by people who are prideful, or they're just very strong in their beliefs and what they think, and it causes a lot of chaos and conflict around. Like with the Lovers here, we have one upright and one in reverse. It's like there's disconnection, right? And I get the sense too is when you're dealing with these people, there's a lot of again, disconnection with the Sun in reverse. It's like it disconnects you from the spirit, from feeling good, and you're just like, man, like, why is there always this problem? Why is there always this strife? Like, why can't we just get along, type of thing? And with this Four of Cups in reverse, like usually this card has 3 cups here, and then he's being offered one from, with the hand of the divine. In this case, there's 3 cups. So it's like it's like spirit really wants you to turn to the spirit and ask, like, instead of being disappointed, it's like you're being invited to look at something differently, to perceive it differently, to feel differently, or you're being directed to something else. So it's like you're being asked to invite help, invite the divine to pursue you. Seriously, just say, I'm finally ready, God, pursue me. So whenever you get into these types of conflicts, or these types of situations with these people who seem like, I feel like they just go at it, like they're very determined and strong-willed type of people, where pride gets in the way. Maybe they don't apologize when they're wrong. Like, it's like they're always like the right fighters. They're right fighters. And so you're like this peaceful person here who is, into, just studying and learning and expanding your mind, whereas maybe the people around you aren't that way. They're very rigid in the way they think. They're very closed-minded. So outrageous openness. Maybe you're very open and they're very closed, right? And so it's like there's always like this butting of heads around you. And so spirit is like, here, have a drink of this, have a drink of that. Like it's like, okay, so the karmic aspect of it, I hope I'm explaining this properly. What I'm trying to say is these people are put in your life to teach you a new way of looking at having a new perspective, a more spiritual perspective. And this ties into what it is that you're trying to learn and expand about, because it's about mysticism. It's about learning and expanding your mind, and you're and ascending, like, spiritually as well. So being able to take, even these lower vibrational type of situations and people, and then finding the humor in it, finding the beauty in it, still being able to be lighthearted, like this fool. Like, he only carries this like, being lighthearted, like not carrying on this baggage, constantly letting go of things, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. So it's even like, we know that you can't carry resentment. You can't, in order to stay connected with the spirit. And it's like these people come in, boom, you're disconnected. How do you get back to feeling connected again? You got to drink up of these cups. Spirit is trying to show you, he's trying to teach you something, trying to elevate and ascend you, as part of this this ascension process, this upgrade for you, and seems like it could be very difficult work, but the key here is to keep seeking out the divine, and he will keep offering it to you to a point that you're not even disappointed in anymore. It's almost like nothing will faze you, right? You see the beauty, you see the love in anything and everything, or the humor. Maybe it brings you humor now, and it's not something that takes you out of your element, makes you feel less joyful, less less just abundant. You know what I mean? Like, just you're still able to enjoy the abundance of that connection to the spirit. So it's really just like, it reminds me of how in religions where they talk about Jesus and how like he loved everybody, and it's sort of like this sort of thing, like where there's always a way to look at things where that will still keep you connected to the spirit, where you could still find the blessing even in the chaos. And it's a really strengthening sort of thing. You know what I mean? So even with this is a shamanic quartz. So again, it's this mysticism. It's this way of perceiving reality. It reminds me of Sadhguru. He's a guru. He's an Indian guru, and I just love this guy's sense of humor. He's on YouTube, and he just has such an amazing sense of humor. But he has a lot of depth and a lot of. He's a mystic, and he has he shares his experiences. He shares his wisdom, and he just has such a great sense of humor about it. Even the way he'll laugh at how humans and how we do things, and it's just such a lightheartedness to him, and it's sort of reminding me of him, look him up. If you want to, Sadhguru, I believe is how it's spelled. And, it's just a very lightheartedness. And so I guess this is where this karmic completion comes in. So like this generational curse that you're going to be breaking is, when we're around people who are always right, like they're right fighters, it's almost like we miss the magic in our surroundings, right? Because we're always at odds with things and people around us, instead of like sort of finding humor and beauty and lightheartedness in things. It's like we're creating more chaos and tension by focusing on what we see with our eyes and how it's at odds with us. Whereas when we turn to spirit, like it's like there's always a lighter, a different way of viewing things, of experiencing things. And and it's like a very gentle way. And then also it's like these new philosophies will come up and emerge from us, right? Because we've chosen to let go of these things that don't serve us. And maybe this is the upgrade, like the philosophical upgrade, the to really bring your study or your knowledge up, or your wisdom up, So this generational curse that you're fixing, it's almost like it's a way of perceiving reality. And it's through the ways of how a mystic would, like, I hope I'm making sense here, because I feel like I'm not, because this is kind of, I hope that I am making sense, because I think that we could all use some of this, because we're all surrounded by karmic sort of situations. Or when I say karmic, I mean people who are there to teach us things, and we may not like it. We may initially not like it. We may not, they rub us the wrong way. There's a lesson in that for us, and there's an upgrade and a new way of thinking in order to be able to reconcile that within ourselves, to really elevate us and to help us understand others more, or understand, and also just in the end, we have to integrate it back into love. You know what I'm saying? Because that is, we all have a place here, right? Regardless how forceful some people may be. So, these people that you are around are really lessons. So really, the curse that you're moving away from, or that you're fixing, has a lot to do with your perceptions of reality, and moving out of this, like, who's, this right fighting sort of way, and just being this stronghold um, mentality of, like, I'm right and this is the way it should be, and pride and ego, and really just bringing it to, more higher levels of consciousness and awareness and understanding, to that more of a mystic, yeah. So that is your reading. I hope that this was helpful for you. And yeah, this is very, very interesting, And it's like here with the Two of Cups, falling in love, or the resurgence of romantic relationships, forgiveness and the ending of challenges, exchanging gifts, don't give up on the people you love. So it's also about, don't give up on the people you love. Yeah, so it's like, how do you still love people through all of this, So it really has to do with finding the beauty, finding the humor, and just finding love, unconditional love for others, and for people, for your family, and being able to not even just peacefully coexist, because that implies a level of tolerance, like tolerance meaning something that you don't really want to deal with, but you're tolerating it, versus really, finding the love and the connection nonetheless with people who perhaps set us off, or rub us the wrong way, and then having that drawing you closer to the spirit, So anyhow, that is your reading. I hope it was helpful. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, pile 4, welcome to your reading on what generational curse are you breaking. So I'm gonna have to just start by saying that, like, you just have such a beautiful energy about you. Like, I almost want to cry. Like, I almost feel like I'm going to cry. Um, just because it's like, it's so rare for there to be people like you out in this world. I mean, there's such, I see that you grew up in a really, really, really harsh environment. Reptilians, predator, survival, tyrannical. You know, and this could mean different things for different people, but I just got the sense that you were abused, you were neglected. Um, it was just like the people that were meant to raise you and take care of you didn't were just didn't do what they had to do, and they caused a lot of damage in the process, and I just sense an ugliness from them, for whatever reason it may be. Whether it's addiction, or I mean, I don't know, I'm not really um, here to judge, but through it all you've still maintained such a beautiful spirit about you, um, just in the face of just like the harshest conditions. And I feel like you remind me of, like, with this king of, and you don't even see it, you don't even realize that you remind me of, like, like the Nelson Mandelas, or like these spiritual leaders, like these great spiritual leaders who have endured a lot, um, and still maintained their faith, still maintained just a good heart about them. And that is such a rare thing, like in the face of just ugliness. of just the harshness of the world, of people, of evil. Um, you know, you still maintain that about yourself. It's just such an honorable thing, you know. And so I see this with this devotion card right here, Parvati. And so, you know, with your graceful transformation, soften your heart and find your flow. And I feel like you've done a lot. You've done a lot to leave behind the past. You know, the effects of the past. And and another thing too, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm all over the place now, but okay, let me just go in order. So again, you've had to do a lot of things on your own. You've had to learn a lot of things on your own. You didn't really have people like the Three of Coins here in reverse. Like it's like a collaboration. You know, they're getting help. They're getting mentorship. You didn't have that. You had to learn stuff on your own, and you had to learn on your own without Nine of Coins in reverse, without the tools, without the love, without the equipment, without the guidance, without any of it. But you still managed to learn and to do things with a loving heart. And so this is the curse that you are breaking, is that you're not following in this footsteps. A lot of people go on, like, you know, if you're surrounded by monsters, some people turn into monsters themselves. Some people become average people but still have these tendencies, whereas you've becoming like this such an honorable being of light, and you've walked away from all of this, and this, you know, horrible experience that you've endured is the thing that is going to push you into this new beginning for yourself. And it is going to activate you on a deep level, your DNA, like the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. So it's like now you're ready to step into who you were meant to be. And it's like you've undergone what you've undergone, and now it's time for you to become who you truly are. And part of that activation has to do with the ability of telepathy, you know, transmission, perception, communication. It's master number 2. And I just see that you know, perhaps this is a new thing that, you know, maybe you don't necessarily understand or see. And I think this is perhaps what's helped you, you know, get through all of this stuff, is these messages that are, it's almost like claircognizance. Yeah. It's like spirit has been pushing these messages to you through your intuition, or through this some type of knowing within yourself. And this is what's helped maintain you throughout all of this. And so now it's like you're really going to step into this full expansion and full expression of this, I want to say, psychic ability. Because now is the time, the Wheel of Fortune. It's the time for you to be recognized, you know? For you to be recognized, for you to be validated. And it may sound, and here with believe in the impossible, it's like it may seem impossible for you, but it is, you know, blue moons do happen once in a blue moon, right? So it is still possible. I mean, and I think it also is a representation of who you are, is that, you know, it is possible. You're going to be an example for people that it is possible to endure what you've been through. And it's like you're like that person who, it's like you survive something and then you have to go back and rescue the rest, right? I just really see that in you as well. It reminds me of, like, I have on my on my about me, one of my favorite quotes is like, until all of us have made it, none of us have made it. So I could really see you being this leader, this great leader. And perhaps you don't see yourself as a leader right now with this king of waters in reverse. Like, and to me, the king of water, the king of cups, he's a very spiritual being. He has a lot of wisdom, spiritual wisdom. He is like the gurus, the leaders that we all look up to, and we wonder like, where did they get all of this wisdom from? You know, um, and that is trustworthy, honorable, devoted, someone you can completely trust, a situation that is safe, a romantic relationship, hidden but well-intentioned emotion, a charitable benefactor, seeing a counselor. So yeah, I can also see you being a counselor as well for people who have been through this. So this is a generational curse that you're breaking, is that you've found a way to um, transmute this history that you have, so that you're not going to go ahead and do the same thing um, to others, right? Like it stops with you with this new beginning, and it's the time for you also to really uncover your gifts, your gifts as well, that helps you through this time. So you're a very admirable person, and I think that it's also going to help you recognize like people and be able to tell who's who. You're always going to have a sense and a knowing of who is who. You're going to be able to recognize people who aren't for you at all. And I know that like you still see the good in people as well. Because with the King of Cups here is like they always see, with believing in the impossible is like always seeing like the good in others, the potential in others, you know? And yeah, so it's just, I just see you as a very magical being and just very special. Like, I feel like your soul is very special. It's definitely something different. And it's like the light that really wants to anchor down in the earth so that the vibration of the earth can raise up. And so we can eliminate some of these darker, denser, heavier energies of just, that really needed to be weeded out. Like, man, there's some evil in this world. There really is. There really is. But you have come a very long way, and I really, really commend you for that. So I hope that you are proud of yourself and believe in the impossible, because it is possible, especially for you. Okay? So take care of yourself. All the best of luck to you. Namaste.